Elisha LightAngel here, and I'm bringing you some life wisdom, just giving it to you from my heart to yours. So if you like what you see today, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, I will be uploading more videos. Hit that subscribe button and ping that little bell. And now for today's topic. Hello, beautiful. I hope you're having one amazing day today, and thank you for joining me. Okay, so the question today is, now that we've talked all about boundaries, exerting our own boundaries, well, what about recognizing other people's boundaries? How do you do that? Well, that's a great question and a great topic to delve into. So, if you're in the habit of practicing putting down boundaries for yourself, it'll probably be easier for you to at least hopefully recognize when somebody else is doing it. At least we would hope, but it isn't always. So the number one thing I would say is to watch out for body language. This is the first way that people talk to us. This is the first way they let us know when they're not utilizing their words, because not everybody has the ability to say no or to let you know when they do have a boundary, even if they're thinking it internally. So some of the cues that you can look for is that people get kind of shifty in their body language. Maybe it's shifting the weight from foot to foot, seeming a little bit indecisive. You can watch the eyes. Eyes are what they say the window to the soul. So the eyes can really tell you if they start kind of shifting away, not giving you eye contact, looking down. Those are going to be a solid cue that whatever it is you're asking them, they might feel uncomfortable telling you no, and therefore they're using their body language because they may not be able to vocalize it. Aside from avoiding eye contact, they might turn sideways. Someone could completely turn away and just not answer you. Someone could start limiting their response in your conversation. So you're talking, you got to something, and now they're kind of shutting down a little bit. That's another way. Or their voice suddenly becomes higher pitched. Yeah, I'll do that for you, no problem. And instead of, yeah, I'd love to do that for you, be great. So there's two different ways. Maybe they weren't gesturing. I talk with my hands, but they weren't gesturing before, and now all of a sudden their hands are going and they're talking a little bit more loquacious and talkative. They might start becoming more stiff in their posture, do the arm folds, across the chest. That's saying like, I'm defending myself with my arms in this way. They could flinch or kind of wince. These are just a few body language clues that someone could give you without verbalizing that they're not comfortable or they are having a boundary that they're not letting you know. When you detect any kind of body language that you are unclear on how to interpret, or even if you're asking something of somebody, you can always ask them. So if you're that's really the number one thing. If you don't know, simply ask the person, are you okay with this? Please tell me honestly. If you're not okay with this, that's fine. And if you give the person a leeway to more comfortably say no to you without feeling that maybe they're going to have backlash from you, it'll be easier for them to let that boundary be known. So those are really the only two things when it comes to other people and their boundaries. It is inevitable that you will cross somebody's boundary. It is inevitable that you will do something that goes over that, and then you're going to have to readdress in some conversation later. It's part of life. It's part of relationships, no matter what kind of relationship that is. It could be your boss. It could be a coworker. It could be family. It could be a loved one. It could be a best friend. It could just be some acquaintance, somebody that you just met. Any one of those relationships, that communication is really key. And if you become aware of other people's boundaries and knowing that you have some, and simply asking them to let you know if there is a boundary or if there isn't a boundary, you may not use that word. You may use whatever the subject is that you're talking about. Are you available to hang out on Friday night? And maybe they get shifty. If you're not, that's okay. I'm just asking if you're available on Friday night. And then that gives the person the ability to give you a straight up yes or no. And hopefully they can become more comfortable with you. And the more you interact with each person in your life, the easier it should become to lay down a boundary and to say something to that person in regards. You know, there's certain things that each of us want for ourselves and don't want. And therefore it's important to not only give yourself certain limitations or allow certain limits to what you're willing to give. It's also okay for the people that you interact with to have that for themselves as well. Being conscious, cognizant, and aware of each and every individual causes us to have to utilize empathy and compassion from within, and sometimes it can be really hard, because sometimes hearing that no that we really didn't want to hear is going to ruffle your feathers. That's okay. If you recognize that you're, might be stepping on their boundaries and you're getting a little miffed, just know and try to remind yourself, you know what, they have to protect themselves. So one way to help deflect for you, if you are feeling a bit emotional because somebody is giving you a boundary that you don't want to hear, then you can respond with, thank you for taking care of yourself. This way, it helps to deflect your personal emotional feelings that you're having attached to them saying no, and instead saying, you know what, I recognize that you're doing something to take care of yourself, so I'm going to give you the gratitude for doing that. And it's a really good way. It just helps. I promise. It's takes some time to get used to. It is another practice, but you can do this. You got this. So just be cognizant and aware, and you can recognize when another person is giving you a boundary and be respectful of that in the same way that you hope that they would respect your boundaries. So go forth, look for cues, practice, 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 and may all boundaries and relationships help to benefit each and every person so that we all grow and do well. May you have a wonderful and blessed day.